Shavua Tov from Shechter, Shavua Tov from the Galilee. In this week's Parsha, Parashat Pinchas, we have a description of the festivals, among them the Shabbat. The Parsha refers to the Shabbat. It tells us what kind of offering we need to bring on the Shabbat, and no other reference. Later, it goes to describe Chag HaMatzot, and it describes both the reference to the offering, and in the same time, the reference to the fact that it's forbidden to do any labor during Passover. When we compare this list to Parashat Emor that appears in the book of Leviticus, we see a totally different description of the Shabbat. There is a description of the fact that it's forbidden to do any labor on the Shabbat, but there is no reference whatsoever to the offering. When we go later in Emor to the description of Passover, we see a reference to the offering as well as the reference to the fact that it's forbidden to do any labor during the Passover. How come that in the description of the Shabbat, we don't have both ingredients in the same description, while in the other description we have both components? I think the answer is simple. Part of the Shabbat is an act of imitatio Dei. We need to imitate the act of God. The act of God was to work for 6 days, to create the world in 6 days, and then to rest in the Shabbat. Resting should include not bringing any offering, not working in the temple. In the same time, the Shabbat is all about connecting to God. The tool of connecting to God in the life of the Bible is the offering, is a sacrifice. That tells us how to deal with our own Shabbat. Our own Shabbat should involve both a component of rest, no labor, and in the same time an act of connection, a way to connect to God by learning, by praying, and by any other way that makes our Shabbat full with the God presents. So on one hand, we stop from labor, and at the same time, our labor that is not labor, our resting component, is to connect to God. Shavua Tov from Shechter.